I don't know if it's gonna work. There's a strong chance it won't. Great stress reliever. My name is Renee and welcome back to my chaotic but creative studio. I am about to try something a little different today. Today I'm going to be bringing you along for a little bit of trial and error. I need to make a new batch of pulp and I've used the same tried and true technique for over 20 years. But I recently had an idea that I want to try. If you haven't seen how I make paper mache pulp, you can find the video on my channel. Now I'm aware that there are a number of different methods for pulping paper. For example, the boiling method, which I have tried, and that involves boiling the paper in water on the stovetop. While that method helps soften the paper, for me I don't find it to be necessary because I can pulp the paper pretty quickly by hand. I've also seen people use hand drills with attachments to whip the pulp, and the only reason I haven't done that is because I don't want to use my drill for that, honestly. There's another technique that involves putting the wet paper into a food processor or blender, and I personally just don't want to use my food processor or my blender for that. I have thought about investing in separate appliances specifically for pulp making in my studio. I guess I don't because it comes down to hand pulping is pretty easy because not only does it burn calories, but it's a great stress reliever and fun to get your hands into. Here comes the catch. Since my teenage years, I've had back problems from being a little overzealous working out. For me, it usually involves bending over a bucket of pulp. When I pulp my paper, I typically have the bucket on the floor, so there's enough resistance for the work I'm putting in, pounding and hammering it with my hands to be quick and effective. Sometimes my back is not up to bending over that bucket of pulp. So, I have had an idea for an alternative. I don't know if it's going to work. There's a strong chance it won't, but that's what trial and error in the studio is all about. I think the idea initially came to me while I was sweeping the floor, thus the broom handle. My local dollar store sells broom handles separately. It occurred to me that this metal, I think it's metal. Yeah, it's metal. It occurred to me that this metal handle might actually help me pulp the pulp without having to bend over the bucket, without the back strain. The other idea that I had was this, a potato masher. Many of us have a potato masher at home. I don't really often use it for potatoes, even though I do eat a lot of potatoes. I figured I would try this alone at first, and then if I had an idea for a way to rig it up, I might, but I don't know that it would work to like with this particular potato masher because the handle is not really conducive to like putting inside this. I can pop this plastic part out of the metal. I'm thinking I would have to melt this handle and carve it down to fit. I don't know if it's going to work well enough for me to do all that. The initial idea involved me getting an empty mop frame to click onto here, but if you think about it, most mop frames are kind of wide, so I don't know if they'd fit into my bucket. I think what I'll do is start with the potato masher and see how that works. I have my bucket on a stool, so it's a little bit higher off the floor. It's still low enough for me to get that momentum going, and we're gonna give this a try first and see what happens. So this is simply paper that's been soaking in water. I'm gonna start by trying to smash it with the potato masher. Right away I noticed that it doesn't get through to the bottom of the bucket of pulp. I'm only able to smash the top layer. What I'm not getting with the potato masher is the agitation action that scrapes the bottom of the bucket, continually blending the pulp as I smash it. That blending action is just natural part and parcel when I mix this with my hands, so maybe I'm a little spoiled by that method. And with that observation, I think I'm going to give up on the potato masher. That brings us to the second part of our experiment, the broom handle. While it has a nice metal construction, I'm still not super optimistic about the possibilities with this handle because there's nothing attached to it. I am going to try to take advantage of this hole on the end to maybe help the agitation and see, well, not exactly how I pictured it working out. It's not even working great to stir. So I'm going to table the broomstick idea for right now, but I do have possible other options for attachments that might make this idea work. In the meantime, I'm going back to my tried and true method to finish making a nice big batch of pulp. Since I can't go away and leave you empty-handed, I have to share a few bonus tips, so here we go. As I mentioned earlier, you can find my full paper pulp tutorial on my channel. I also wanted to mention that, like pretty much every batch of pulp I make, this paper pulp contains many different types of paper. It contains brown packing paper, shredded copy paper, cardboard egg cartons, glossy sale papers, and more. And you can learn more about that on a short on my channel that I'll link below. And one more bonus, I wanted to share a question sent to me by a viewer on this channel. Thank you, Flower With Me, for this question. The question was, can you add too much glue to your paper mache pulp? I think this is a great question. The short answer is no. I actually add glue throughout the pulp making process. The glue acts as a great emulsifier, making the pulp more clay-like, causing it to stick together like clay and making it smoother. And the more glue you add, the smoother and stickier it gets, and the better it'll hold together for sculpting. I've never ever had a problem of adding too much glue. It's more likely that you'll add too little. So don't be afraid to be generous with the glue. If you've made it this far in the video, leave me a gray heart emoji to show me you love paper pulp, and I will see you in the next one. Let me see, what else was I gonna say? No. Yes, you can pulp paper on a tabletop, but you just won't have the same resistance that you get with working on the floor. You can't go all in on a tabletop the same way you can on the floor.